Expo. In partnering with Expo 2020, we brought some of the world's leading thinkers and practitioners to help us reimagine and address some of the most urgent and critical contemporary issues we are faced with in the world of Anthropocene today. Our intent for Cultures in Conversation was to create a condition for learning and change through alternative pedagogy. It is with epistemic approach that we studied these complex issues from radical, scientific, artistic, and humanitarian worldviews, revealing their inseparability from social, economic, environmental, and political spectrums. We've been collectively and actively engaged with over 60 participants over the past year. And as we deconstructed paleoclimate archives for Climate and Biodiversity Week, facilitating intergenerational debate, as part of Urban and Rural Development Week, we problematized and reinvestigated epistemologies and ontologies applied to cities today by highlighting cities off the map and focusing on multi-locality of the urban and possibility of community pertinent to our region. We learned to read the stars with artist and poem Nujum al-Ghanam as part of Space Week. We danced through global goals together with SEMA Performing Arts Studio, and collectively reimagined key ingredients for future of food through Becha Kucha format. While it is impossible to mention all of the highlights of Cultures in Conversation, I cannot not share my personal one. I still recall the conversation between Her Excellency Noor Al-Kabi, the Minister of Culture and Youth, and His Excellency Zaki Nusseibeh, former Minister of State and current Culture Advisor to the President of the UAE, moderated by Mirna Yad, were stories we've never heard before, that were never shared with the public before, were shared, and really new narratives through informality were drawn in challenging the meaning or definition of tolerance as part of Tolerance and Inclusivity Week. And to this day, I feel quite privileged to have been part of that conversation. All this in search of co-evolutionary radical forms of change that can shape platforms of cooperativism, allowing for a broader investigative discussion, reimagined approaches that spill beyond political prescripts. We hope the fundamentals laid out over the past 6 months will allow for continued research, reimagination, and change with all of you in this room and beyond. With that in mind, we have worked on creating an archive that will provide continuous access to the concepts, ideas, and research that the participants involved in this program have produced. Cultures and Conversations archive components will continue to be accessible on both Expo's and our virtual platforms, leaving a tangible, indelible trace of this program. I want to thank both Expo and Alserkal teams, all partners, and most importantly, practitioners and thinkers who helped us shape and mold the content of this program for their intellectual labor and commitment. Please join me in expressing our immense gratitude on behalf of Alserkal family, our community, in acknowledging Her Excellency Rima Hashimi for her leadership of Expo 2020. And of course, Nadia Berji, her Chief of Staff, who unfortunately couldn't join us this afternoon, and her team, Hind Al-Boum, who led it besides her, next to her, this entire program, and as we shape the content together, for most importantly, for believing and trusting Alserkal Advisory to be your partner. Thank you for making Expo is our second home for the past year, and for trusting a homegrown organization grounded in an international network to create this program and realize this program together with you. Before I hand you over to my colleague Nada Raza, who is the director of Alserkal Arts Foundation and who really conceptually shaped Water Week, to introduce and open this week, I would like to leave you with an excerpt of Nujum Al-Ghanam's poem commissioned for Space Week, titled I Found My Way to You, translation by Khaled Al-Masri. And just before in the green room, I was saying to my colleagues, I don't know what I was thinking by including this excerpt and citing Nujum Al-Ghanam's poem, because I think many of you who know the artist, she's definitely more eloquent than I am, but I will give it my best. You must believe the stories, the ones that make no claim to truth, but cannot bear lies, like those Sharazad told. You must believe the marks made by the tears of the meteors on the silence of the evening, and the ringing sound of water's heart, when the reflected blueness of the southern cross leans over its skin. You must believe the poets when they allege that light is like water, like a river, and then they swear that many dreams are hidden there in the sky, like bird nests. Thank you.